So welcome everybody, June 11th, Town of Concord Zoning Board of Appeals meeting, with us here tonight, Robert Fria, Elizabeth Dwyer Leonard, Stephen Newbold, and our brand new member, Abigail Flanagan. So thank you so much for joining us.
Happy to be here.
I'm the chair. My name is Theo Tillemans. From the town, we have Christine Zale, Kim Johnson, and online is our building commissioner, Kevin Pickering. I don't see our brand new select board liaison here, Dean Banfield. But I'm sure he'll be joining us when he has time. There's another important meeting going on in town at the moment, so
Yes, right.
that's where quite a few people will be as well. So anyway, so let me first off start off with a quick announcement about the last hearing that's scheduled for tonight, which is 262 Virginia Road. Just a very short time ago, we got a request from the applicant to continue that hearing without discussion to our July meeting. So when the item will be coming up on the agenda, I'll open it. I think we might want to discuss doing a site visit. We won't be discussing any of the merits of that application, but I think a site visit would be prudent. So that we will be discussing that, and I think once we have a date, it will be posted. It's up to the applicant to allow the public on the site. So I'll leave that up to the applicant at that point in time. But just for anybody who joined now and waiting for that hearing, you'll have another 2 or 3 hours of your life back right now. So, and I'll make this announcement a little bit later on as well, again, so that people who are waiting for this hearing don't waste their time. So that all being said, and that at 7 o'clock, Jonathan Silverstein from Blattner Happy and Silverstein LLC, the applicant, on behalf of Concord Country Store LLC, the owners, for a special permit and site plan review under zoning bylaw section 713, 72, 11.6, 11.8 to renovate the existing gas station and make associated site improvements in the floodplain conservancy district at 166 Commonwealth Avenue, parcel 284-2. Anybody here to speak?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Thank you. Jonathan Silverstein for the applicant. I'm counsel. With me tonight are Axel Solberg, who is the project architect, Matt Merba from Bowler, which is the engineer and consultant, as well as Tariq Fayyad, who is a principal of the applicant. It's very rare that I'm so happy about presenting an application, but I have for so many years been passing this site and wishing something would be done with it on my way to work that I almost would have done it for free. I'm not, but I'm sure everyone's very familiar with the site at 166 Common. It's across from Kenneth Penn Square. It's a very prominent location in West Concord, and it's seen better days, to put it mildly. And we're hoping to change that. So the project is comprised of demolishing a portion of the structure, expanding it, completely revamping it to comply with the West Concord design guidelines, the existing single wall underground storage tanks are going to be pulled out. State-of-the-art double wall tanks are going to be put in. There's going to be a new canopy to replace the old canopy, which will also be much more attractive. There's no stormwater management currently. on the property, no infrastructure to speak of. I think there might be a culvert that just sort of dumps directly into the brook. We're gonna be installing best management practices, stormwater management system, a significant reduction in the amount of impervious coverage. Pretty much the entire site is currently paved. There's not a lot of greenery other than the weeds in the planter on Ave. We're gonna be replacing all the site lighting. We're gonna be installing light poles that match the existing decorative light poles, that street lamps that the town has put in along Tom Ave. Going to be some new open space, landscaped open space, electric vehicle chargers. There is going to be a store, and it's not your typical gas station convenience store. There are a couple other locations of this country store in Massachusetts, and it's really an eclectic mix of local crafts and gifts, local produce, food, hardware, just sort of a unique mix of different goods that I think will be a nice addition to that area. We didn't have room, although we fielded a lot of requests for an ice cream shop. We couldn't quite fit it in, so apologies with that. But I think overall, I know you have a very busy agenda tonight, and there's a lot of materials we've submitted. I'm happy to review any of it. But I don't want to waste your time knowing that there are a lot of other agenda items. I'll just quickly note the relief we're asking for is a special permit for the gas station use. There previously was a gas station on the site. The site continued to be used for a non-conforming auto mechanic use until recently. We could have come in and asked for this to be a change from one non-conforming use to another. We decided just to apply for the use special permit as contemplated. We're eliminating a lot of dimensional non-conform. We're eliminating one of the two dimensional nonconformities, which is that the existing structure does not satisfy the minimum height requirement in this district. So the new structure will satisfy that requirement. We're reducing the other nonconformity, which is that the existing structure does not satisfy the maximum front setback in this district. We're bringing the structure closer, mainly by adding a sort of front porch area that will, I think, help to further the purpose of that maximum setback requirement, which is to make it feel a more pedestrian oriented street activating structure. So we're making it less non-conforming, more appealing in a whole lot of ways. We spent some time on a few nights with the West Concord Advisory Committee. They all seemed very happy. We appeared a couple times before the planning board, which earlier this week issued a recommendation in favor of the project. We've spent a lot of time with town staff and department heads, and I know you have a planning department memo in front of you as well. So I'll stop there and turn it over to Matt to run you through the plans, unless any members of the board have any questions at this point.
Okay. Great, thank you. Matt Merva with Bowler. Jonathan did a great job of summarizing everything we're doing on site. What you're looking at here is an image of the current condition right now. So this is an aerial view showing the existing gas station structure and canopy. You can see the paving on sort of the north side of the project, or the left side of the page, runs just about to the property line. And if you look at what we're proposing here, we've provided some significant buffer there, a connection to the river walk, and definitely doing a lot of work to clean up the stormwater management on site and actually capture, treat, so this isn't running right into the river. So we've been through the Conservation Commission This has been peer reviewed. We're glad to flip through some of the design plans. These have all been submitted and approved, so I don't want to spend too much time unless you have questions there. But as Jonathan mentioned, we're providing landscaping, lighting. We're continuing the streetscape that's been established along Main Street and utilizing the town poles. We've been coordinating with DPW and Concord Power and Light on that. And so with that, I think I'll turn it over to Axel to just talk quickly about the architecture. And then we
One
can-
question.
Yes, sir.
I'm not sure I saw this in the materials, but if you come down the Ave on the sidewalk,
Mhm.
and then is that like a pedestrian footpath through the landscaping to get to the?
That's exactly right.
And is that there today, or is that?
There is not a path there, so we're making that connection.
Okay,
for-
yeah, I don't think
public
that was
access.
highlighted in that, I think that's.
Yeah,
great.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, and we're also providing new sidewalk along the frontage here. And there's potential for a future project in town related to pedestrian connectivity around this square here. I don't know if you can see where I'm pointing. But we've discussed, and it's in the planning memo, either rebuilding the sidewalk or contributing the money that it would have cost us to do it to the town's project there, so that it can all be done cohesively in one format at the same time. So that's part of the commitment we've made.
And the pedestrian crosswalk is gonna go to that,
I believe right here is where it's proposed in the future.
okay.
If you can see my arrow there.
Shown on your plan.
Yeah, that's better. There you go.
Okay,
So you can see the crosswalk striping there.
You have 11 parking spaces, right? Is
That
that what
is,
you are proposing?
that is correct.
And you are required to have 9, I believe, right?
Yeah, and I can zoom in on the parking table.
No, that's fine. I'm
Okay.
just, that's the confirmation and that's
Yep.
good. Can move to architecture and
Okay,
we'll have some more questions later.
And I do think that includes the spaces adjacent to the chargers,
that's right. The
Mhm.
EV spaces are
so
included in that.
that sort of,
And then, yeah, so we have a van accessible space here, EV charging spaces here. So that's 3 + 1, plus another 4 here, and then 3 along the frontage.
and one other point that I forgot to mention is that there's gonna be an established curb line and some landscaping along the property line. Whereas right now it's a little bit fluid, shall we say, between this site and the parking lot.
Oh,
or
you mean that line there, that tripping hazard?
So we think that'll be a good improvement as well.
We'll get to that later.
Okay.
I need to finish the presentation. Actually,
Yep, just waiting for the plan to size up here. Here we go. So Axel Solberg, principal architect overseeing the design team for this project. So as Jonathan and Matt summarized, we are renovating this existing structure and we were pretty happy when we started the design process to read through the guidelines of the West Concord Village and see that they've already had a natural alignment with the brand of the store, which Jonathan pretty well summarized. You know, this is more of a country store, a general store, you know, a collection of goods inside than it is what you would find at like a typical gas station convenience store. So the interior layout is really geared towards the customer experience. Unlike most retail stores like this, we actually have functioning clerestory windows inside. So you walk inside and there is a display shelf up above where the ownership displays all of the various goods they've collected from the New England countryside. And that is kind of how this store began. And there are a couple of locations. One is in Upton, another in Mendon. And So as far as the Concord design guidelines are concerned, the use of the fieldstone masonry at the base here and the positioning of the walls up above the sill align with all of these storefront display guidelines and the dimensional criteria. And the addition of the wraparound, we'll call it a porch for lack of a better term, but truly, actually, it's an arcade. That also was already something that the Concord Village guidelines called for, so we were happy to see that there was another natural alignment here. All of the lighting here is complementary to the old New England country vernacular style. So we have gooseneck lighting with ornamental details, and then down lighting under the canopy to ensure that all of this light is focusing downwards. And so at night, that surrounding streetscape with the planter boxes is warmly lit. One of the comments we received from the review board last time we presented was the color temperature of the light fixtures themselves. So we made sure to select fixtures that had the 2700 Kelvin requested by the board. And we also discussed the roofing material of the overhang itself. So it's a pre-finished multi-coat product, architectural in nature. And so it's designed to look like a natural dark copper. Of course, it won't patina. It's not actual copper, so it won't develop the rust and patterns of what traditional copper does over time. So I'd say that's a good nutshell summary. If we go to the back for the next rendering. This is the view from the corner adjacent to the bakery as you're walking through that alley. And so obviously we've made great strides to improve what's here now. So we are planning to reuse the existing foundation and maintain all of the existing wall here, infilling a couple of the storefront, not storefront, but garage kind of windows that you see on this building right now. And we'll be addressing the settlement cracks as well. But obviously getting rid of the let's call it a ramshackle stair that goes up to the upper level right now. We're taking that away, removing the existing gable framing up there and then raising the building to meet those minimum height criteria. One of the comments we received when we originally presented this was to embellish this a little bit more. So we added additional trim details, wrapped around a panelized band to align with the overall canopy projecting over the porches. And then created, enough space here so that way we could leverage more light fixtures to, again, just warm up this area between both buildings a bit more. Happy to answer any other questions that the board might have about architectural details, but.
Sure. Will it be called Imperial Country Store?
Yes, that is the brand.
Next presentation.
That's it.
Any other questions from the board about it?
Your architect has a couple of questions.
Yeah, no, I was waiting for you.
You mentioned that you're expanding the building, but the ZBA application says you're actually making the building smaller than existing. Okay?
The footprint is actually smaller, so we're taking the front of the building and moving it back 9 feet across that frontage, and then we're expanding to the true south.
Right.
So the overall square footage is now what you see on the plans, and so the overall building is longer and narrower.
Right, but
We're reducing the second floor.
yeah,
Right now, it's
that's
second.
that's from getting.
Yeah.
For the public, it's technically smaller than what was there.
Yes.
The footprint's approximately the same, but it's not, doesn't have a second floor.
Yes, that's well said. Yeah.
Right, are all of the signs externally lit? You don't have any internally?
There's no
lit signs?
internally illuminated sign.
Okay,
No.
everything is 2700 Kelvin.
Yes, yeah.
Does that include the lights inside? Or are you gonna be,
The inside of the store has not been engineered, but
Okay.
if that's a requirement, then we would, of course.
no, I'm just,
yeah.
what I'm wondering is, in all the applications, you also talked about some things are happening after hours, some things are happening during hours. And I saw a couple of references to comments in the last planning board meeting about the hours of operation being 6 AM to 10 PM. Is that
That's correct.
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
What will be illuminated after 10 PM?
So only safety lights, if there are, I don't know.
And the town might want us to keep the street lamp, the new street lamps, even though they're on the property. I assume they'll want those to stay on.
Right, 'cause there were some comments about timers or other things, so I'm just curious what, great rendering daytime, what does it look like at night? Because the nighttime is what would impact the neighbors. So if the lights are brought down and all we see is the street lights and maybe a couple of the porch lights or something, just to, for safety purposes. I'm just wondering what your impression is, because then there was also comments that you would make deliveries after hours. I would assume after hours being after 10 o'clock.
After peak hours, so we'll try to keep deliveries off of peak
Oh,
hours.
peak hours, okay, it's just not clear in all the documents,
Yeah,
just says
so
off for hours.
no deliveries, when the store's closed.
And so noise complaints after hours, none,
Yeah.
light, dim,
Correct.
okay. And then I think there's a couple of civil things we asked about later, but I'll leave that to you to start.
Yeah, you can jump in, but can we pull up the site plan, please?
Sure thing.
And sort of zoom in on the site plan. Since this is site plan approval, we might as well. That's,
How's this?
it's not bad. You can also, go to the bottom right and then just, make that bigger indeed. How are pedestrians? I assume you expect some people come from West Concord walking on the sidewalk and all, right? How are pedestrians, and I would actually would like to have sort of the whole site plan shown here. Yeah, also that already. Because I assume you also that you want people, or you would like people on that new created bypass path, walk there, and then I think there's an aisle next to the striped aisle next to the EV space.
Right here, yep.
And so that's, and you use that, I would assume people walking that path so that they can go to the store, right?
That's right.
Right? Is there a curb cut at that location? A handicap accessible curb cut?
A curb cut here,
Yeah, if you're
Right
right
there,
there, right
yeah,
there, yeah.
yes. Yeah,
Is there? It's not shown on your plans. There is a curb cut at your handicap space, but it's not at that location.
True.
So, and then, this person in a wheelchair or this parent with a stroller comes down that striped little aisle,
mhm.
and then how do they get into the store,
So this is the curb ramp right here.
right?
So through this accessible striped area here, that would be the accessible route into
Yeah.
the store.
So, but if you were to come from West Concord,
From the left of here, you're saying?
no, if you
Yeah.
come
I
from the
understand.
right and want to go to the store
Mhm.
in a wheelchair or with a stroller, how do you
Right.
get into the store?
Yep, I understand.
You need to go around, right? There's no curb cut at your front door.
Yeah, right here.
So, I would strongly advise you, I'm not the ADA police, but I would strongly advise you that there has to be a curb cut. And I honestly believe that on the other corner needs to be a curb cut as well.
On this
On
border
that
here.
corner there, yeah. I mean, you have a dead-ended sidewalk under that canopy that in ADA regulations might get you into trouble as well.
That's the only issue. We can certainly look at that. Do we have room to do a compliant ADA ramp? And once we do one, it's gotta meet all the dimensions. So you gotta have the level landing at the top, you gotta have so we can take a look at that. If we can add one, we certainly
I mean, you
will.
may,
Great point.
you have it on the other corner, so you can have it on that corner, but then on the end of the sidewalk, going plan north, that sidewalk is dead ended. In a wheelchair, where do you go? You have to turn around
Right,
and come
at
back.
this spot you're talking about.
No,
Right.
no,
Yeah, understood.
not in that location, no. If you come out of the door, out of the front
Yeah,
and take a left, and then take a left,
Yeah, so going to plan.
and then you end up dead ended.
well, north is to the
No,
left.
Yeah, plan north.
Top,
Yeah.
top right of the sheet.
Okay,
Good plan right and then, yeah.
Right there, where do you go? So that was something that's struck me as a little bit tricky. This actually is a pretty good positioning of the plan.
You also,
What's between that handicap van space and trash enclosure? There is like a little strip, two curbs, and you propose like full plants in there.
Yeah, that was
That's
triggered by NRC. For recompensation of the floodplain and some of the vegetation growth.
That is out of the floodplain, right?
No,
Here's the floodplain line right here.
I see.
Where my
But
hand is.
So here's the thing, that van space and with the aisle next to it, they need to be swung around counterclockwise so that they align with the dumpster. That little V-spaced area that you have there, that is, two concrete curbs in asphalt, and you have 4 plants in there. You think at a day like today, they survive? They got roasted. It's so, my point is, it's kind of useless. And if you swing the parking space with the aisle around, then you take the corner of the aisle that's hitting the riprap. You swing that away from your property line, and you can do away with the riprap. I don't think people in West Concord would like riprap in their town. It's gonna be looking horrible, and it's gonna be looking horrible. So if you want to, I think once you swing that the space and the aisle around, you don't need any riprap, and if you need to have something to catch that grade, you can do that with a wall. It's going to be a 3-foot wall at most.
yeah, we would welcome that, absolutely.
That's something. There is just no reason to have any riprap
Yeah, you
here.
can get that to fit.
That's just.
Certainly not an issue. We do have a trash enclosure wall around this. So that where the space is does offer a little relief from where the van would be parked right next to that for door swings and what have you, but. I see your point about the angle.
Yeah, just swing it back a few
We
degrees.
can take a look at it for sure.
And then the other issue that I had, you said you had 11 parking spaces and you only needed 1. So I would really like it if you delete 1 or 2 parking spaces.
see, there's 11, you have 2 EV, and you have 9. 2
Yeah,
EV and
one
1 ADA, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's 9 needed. There's 11 parking spaces.
We are full service, so we do have employee parking as well, that's gonna be taking up some of those spaces.
No, I hear you, and I've been. I'm not just going after because of the numbers. I've been looking. I live right around the corner, actually, almost abutting a gas station that happens to have a Dunkin' Donuts in it. So it has some turnover. There's some people coming in and out there. 3-4 vehicles is the most I see. Right, and that store has at minimum 2 employees in it. So if the town by its regulation says 9 spaces should be sufficient, we just don't want to be building more parking than we need.
One of the issues is when you've got 2 EV spaces and you don't have any EV cars parking there necessarily, that basically takes 2 out of the equation.
Sure.
So that is sort of an operational issue for us to make sure we've got enough parking for staff and visitors. So I don't think we're seeking any relief on the parking, but we do feel like this is the right number of spaces for the operation.
Yeah.
Because like 3 of those spaces are really unavailable to regular customers coming in, and we have, there's gonna be another employee pumping gas.
I would like to just also touch on the fact that we are dramatically reducing the amount of pavement on that site as well. So I think it is a net improvement to the environment in regards to pavement. So
No, I don't disagree with that, but you know, I think we can improve further, you know, and I think we as the board owe that to the people of Concord. And, you know, I just, you know, a few moments ago, I mentioned that trip hazard, which, you know, I think that's a bad design. I think that's a lawsuit waiting to happen. You know, don't start smiling now. Sorry.
It's not my field.
Yeah, but that curb there, that's just a lawsuit waiting to happen. So I think it would be prudent and it would be a huge improvement to this plan if that's also, if that island, that bulb island gets continued through all the way. That's a 6-foot wide island. You lose your parking space there, but you also then create room for your handicap curb cut to come down below. So I think that would be,
So
and then add some, obviously, some landscaping in there.
the issue with, or there are a few issues with that. One is, I think the primary issue is that design was the result of the peer review that was conducted.
Mhm.
And the need for trucks accessing the abutting site to be able to mount that curb, I believe.
no, I think it was just to control the traffic within the site was the comment of the peer review. So that was one of them. And there was great discussion on that. And
Yeah, this curb here
Yeah.
was actually added
yeah,
because
originally
they did
didn't
not
have
want
that.
cars to be able to come through.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Through
Yeah, no,
between
no,
the
I
parking
agree,
areas.
and
Cut that off.
I think that creates a great tripping hazard. If I were the designer, I would never do that. Because if there's some cars parked, people walk through there, trip over that curb. It's, you know, that's a liability I wouldn't want to take.
I think.
So just for scale as well, that's about 24 inches wide. So it's not like it's just a 6-inch curb. It's about 2 feet.
It's a curb and a curb with some
Yeah, there
With
is
some rip
area in
yeah.
between, right?
So that's why I'm saying that, you know, it would be, and here it's, you know, again, let me just sort of all on the same page. This line should continue. And there should be at least 2 or 3 more trees in there. Catch away rigid tripping hazard. And you create the ramp for handicap accessibility. So those are my issues. Well, those are not all of them, by the way. And typically I don't do this. I don't comment on plant material shown on plans. But in this case, where in that island are 2 red buds suggested, it's a very dainty woodland edge kind of tree. You're planting in the middle of an asphalt sea. 2 years from now, that those are gone, those are dead. And again, people have their preferences, and that's why I typically do not comment on plant material. But if we know that they're gonna die within a year or 2, then, you know, we need, that's not a good design. We need something that stays there for a long time. So,
No, we fully understand, like, we're gonna be responsible for maintenance of this site, and if a tree dies, we're gonna have to replace it 100%. We've been through.
sorry, Matt, I've been there, you know, and it just doesn't happen. You know, once people, because it's gonna cost money, the operator here has a budget, and he's not gonna spend $750 bucks, $1,000 to replace the tree. That's not in his budget.
So,
That's
Mr.
never
Chair,
gonna happen.
we take great pride in the
Yeah,
landscaping
yeah,
of our
but-
properties.
And I appreciate that, but I still think that the red bud is a totally wrong choice, absolutely wrong choice. So,
And I don't want to be argumentative. We've been through the process with the conservation, who've weighed in heavily on our plant list.
Mhm.
They had a lot of recommendations for us and a lot of input through the process. They're looking for all species to be native, drought tolerant. That's from a list that is approved in Concord. So we've been trying to, adhere to what we're hearing as feedback all through the
Mhm.
process here.
and the process is still ongoing.
This isn't in a vacuum that we've come tonight, is all I'm suggesting.
No.
And-
And I'm sure that the National Resources focus on one side and they might not have focused on this side for the plant material. I'm not commenting and I didn't go through a plant list on the other side. This island, the red bud really stood out, so.
Mr. Chair, if I may, that dashed line that you see on, Matt, can you line it out?
Right here.
Yeah, so that was everything within that line was in the purview of NRC and they
That's
gave
the
us.
200-foot
Yeah.
riverfront area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how that plant was derived from that.
Yeah, still. Red buds in the parking lot, I've yet to see it, it just ain't happening. So. But those are my comments. So, and I know they are a lot, and, yeah, I'm just looking for an updated site plan, to see what you guys come up with, at least for now. And I do understand that it's for you all, that it feels like you've been through the process, you're almost there, and then it feels like I'm gonna kick you back. And I don't want to do that, I've been there, done that. But I also can't let these items go because they're just not good. Riprap in a site like this is just. It's not good. It's just a bad design. The red buds, as I said, it's bad species for the location. And again, I think you have too much parking. And then, I don't even want to get started on the handicap accessibility. So that's where I am. I had to discuss this any further. But since we're here, I would like to open this up to the public for their comments. And anybody here or anybody online, if you want to say something, please raise your hand. Use the raise hand feature on the bottom of your screen.
Could I ask a question while we're waiting for public?
Yeah,
comment?
absolutely.
And I should say that I was sitting on the planning board when we initially reviewed these but was not present or participating in the vote on recommendation from the planning board. The crosswalk, the public crosswalk that's striped there.
Yes.
Could you just zoom in? How do you envision pedestrians accessing the site from that crosswalk? I can kind of envision like a little cow path starting as people kind of just cut directly into it. Is there an opportunity there? I know we want to control cars coming over the sidewalk and all the rest. Is there an opportunity somewhere along there to provide kind of a directed access so you don't have people just kind of stepping over the curbs and into the parking spots? I didn't know how you envisioned the pedestrian access from that crosswalk.
Well, that's a great question. In the current plan, we do have parking spaces along that edge, so it's not really gonna be that inviting to cross that area. We would see people making a left onto the public way and coming up into the site more
Into the
directly
driveway.
in front of the front door.
Okay.
That's how we've we've been looking at it.
Mhm.
I suppose you could break through there, but with the
Mhm.
parking there, that certainly wasn't something we were looking at. We'd also have to look at what the grades are doing
Yeah.
between the sidewalk and the level of the.
Yeah, I just
of
wonder,
the
you know,
driveway
people kind
there.
of take the path of least
Could be,
resistance.
but we are trying to sort of.
To
direct
build up,
travel,
yeah, no, I know.
To places where there's more safety and respite along that
And do
area.
you envision on the other side of the property, pedestrians coming from the Neshoba Brook Bakery parking lot? Do you anticipate they'll come down the pathway along the river? Or do you think? How do you think,
From,
like, if you were to go to, yeah, if you were there, cause I know there's pedestrian traffic back and forth. How do you envision them accessing
Yeah,
the site from
I
that
would
side?
imagine if you're at Neshoba, you would enjoy the new path that we're
The
at.
path, and that connects, and that's an
Correct.
easy connection for
Yeah,
them.
and then I would imagine if you're parked up on plan east of the site,
Mhm.
you just kind of cross the landscape then probably and like walk onto the crosswalk.
Yeah, cause I think I think there's obviously a real benefit to controlling the vehicular traffic from site to site and from the
Yeah.
tree. But you do want to encourage the pedestrian movement.
Absolutely.
Okay, that was my,
I also want to mention that crosswalk, we're really offering that as a benefit to the town. I don't think it's really intended as something that will be used specifically for us, because I think people are unlikely to be hanging out in Kennethtown.
no, but if
Square
you
and
build
then-
it, they will come, and you wanna
Yeah.
make sure that you considered how pedestrians will access. Especially, I would envision this, if you think about where the site is located with the proximity to ride out, as in pedestrian track access is improved in that area, you're gonna have a lot of kids who are gonna wanna come this way and stop in and grab something, and so it's just a consideration to have as the overall context of the site is improved for pedestrian access. I would imagine you will have more pedestrian access to the, accessing the site than in years past, which I think is a positive.
Mhm.
I just wanna make sure the pathways for access have been considered.
Yes.
Well, I would also say that the pedestrian coming from West Concord Center proper, their only way to come in is through the driveway.
Mhm.
They have to come through the traffic coming in or out, and then they have to walk across the whole driveway to get to the building. So a pedestrian is gonna be, you know, there's no defined way, the sidewalk doesn't turn in, there's not a defined entrance, and it's narrow right there, so.
And I will say, as the businesses in that area become busier, which is great, and the traffic increases, people are less likely to relocate their cars to go, you know, if you've parked and you're at Ava's or
Right.
someplace else, you're
Yeah.
probably gonna walk
Yeah.
unless you're getting gas.
I'd also say that if MCI continues, we'll have a lot more pedestrian traffic here. And then one other comment to pick up on what you were saying, Theo, on the back side, when I read the elevation change, you're on a zero lot line building, right?
Mhm,
And it falls off behind the building.
mhm.
If you go to that plan left side and that walkway goes along there, it looked like there was an 18 inches drop on that into the, you know,
That's correct. That's a door for loading.
right, but.
So that's the back of the house.
Right, but if someone was to go out that door and walk straight forward,
There'll be a railing.
it doesn't show in any of the renderings.
So
That's all.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you know, that then the obvious question, if there was a railing there, why doesn't the railing turn the other way and eliminate the riprap? Why don't you,
The riprap?
well, if there's a height difference right here, all along here, you're gonna put a railing in. You've got a height difference here between
Yeah.
there and there.
Yeah.
You could continue a railing or something.
Well, yeah,
People
well, the
walking over
riprap
it.
is just to catch the slope, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but, you know, the moment you turn the space with the aisle away from that
Yeah.
parallel to the
It'll work itself
dumpster,
out.
you know, then you have the room.
Yeah.
So anyway, we have a question from the
Yeah.
public, so.
Hi, I'm a West Concord resident and I grew up in West Concord, still live there, hopefully.
But we'd like your name again.
Sure. Christina Stetson, sorry, I've never done a ZBA before.
Okay.
Harrington Avenue. And I'm really excited about what the potential of this space can be, and it's definitely your main people that are gonna go there are coming from the playground and right out and children, and is there like a bike rack at all?
That's a good place.
Because that's who you're gonna get, because now we don't have the 5 and 10 in West Concord, and we used to, and still today, people ride their bikes, but you're gonna get a lot of like kids and even people from the bike trails wanting to stop and get candy, and also like coming from right out. There's not like I mean, there's Deborah's, but like getting waters and snacks and stuff like that and quick sandwiches, so. Also parking is an issue, so I think giving up. I think having 2 electric vehicle spots is like overkill. I think 1 would be okay, but giving up a spot would be really hard because that whole area, especially at lunchtime with Neshoba, is really difficult. But yeah, just think about your main consumers are gonna be kids coming from the playground. Just like I used to go to the 5 and 10 and wanting to get really cheap candy, which doesn't exist anymore. So like, think of maybe putting a bike rack in, because that's
Good point.
definitely gonna be a clientele. Or they're gonna just attach it to the railing or leave it in the middle of a spot, just so you know, like, they're gonna put their bike where they're gonna find it.
Yeah, I think we may be able to accommodate something
Thank you.
along the sidewalk that's that public way.
Yeah.
To the,
Cause that crosswalk is great, like,
yeah,
you're gonna start getting people, cause like my friends lived growing up, they're still my friends. They lived by Right Out, and that's how we would get downtown, would be crossing that park as a shortcut. That's all.
and I think they will have that candy, by the way, right?
Yeah.
5-year-old. Hopefully riding with her bike.
Thanks for your comments.
Yeah.
Very good comment on the bike rack. I'm not seeing any raised hands on online, so please, if you have a comment, raise your hand. If not, then I'll close the public comment section of this hearing. And you then bring it back to the board, and
Yep.
then, we'll discuss this a bit further here.
Yeah, so I have 2. The first one, in terms of keeping with the character of Concord and wanting you to be, part of how all of it works. Can you tell us just a little bit about where the name comes from, what the story of that brand is?
So I can't personally speak to how the name was developed, but I can speak that ownership has had that name for probably over 30 years. We developed it first when we opened up this first Chevrolet car dealership.
Mhm.
It was established from that point on, and we bought supermarkets over the years. We used the same name. We bought, we're trying to build this brand now. We're using the same name. So I could tell you that's how long back the name goes.
Sure.
But I can't speak to how it was developed 30 years
I
ago.
would just offer that the business would put itself in an interesting place because, there's a lot of idea about this being the seat of the American Revolution, and the idea of an imperial power source is sort of the opposite of that. So it's just something to consider, whether that name comes into this community in the same way that it would go into other communities. And then the second comment I have, as I'm listening to the discussion and visualizing the site, as a mother of teenagers, is that it seems to me like a lovely place, and like definitely somewhere that kids will want to go. It's great for their independence. But having the path of the cars and the humans be the same, like there's no way really to not walk through where the cars are going to be. I just wonder if, I don't know if there's some way around that, or some way to mark the pavement, so it's very clear, when you're backing up, where there might be children and where there might not. That would make me avoid a gas station if I thought, I can't tell, is there going to be a kid? Is there a bike? Who's behind me? Can I see them? So I offer that as just something that really would want to consider.
On that point,
Yeah.
this is a very challenging site.
For sure, for sure. Yeah.
In terms of
Understood.
the geometry of the roadways, the site access. needing to have, fuel trucks
Right.
come in and make the movements,
Mhm.
fire trucks. It's tight and it's an odd shape and so larger landscaped areas that are already much more significant than what's there and walkways. And, you know, if you're walking from the sidewalk to the Showbrook Bakery, you're walking through a parking lot as well. We're limited in what we can do. That being said, you know, I think it's we're not finishing tonight. And we will go back and take a look at it. It's been, you know,
Yeah,
there's been a lot of coordination
for sure.
with DPW and
Yeah.
fire, police. So we have looked at this extensively, but we're looking at some.
Yeah, and it's very much appreciated, but just as a community member visualizing the use that would happen here, that's my concern.
District.
And again, I want to reiterate this, I totally understand, you know, that you've been through a lot, you know, and, you know, you're very close now, and then, you know, you all of a sudden still got a hurdle, but, you know, the hurdle will make the plan better, will make it better for you, I think, and, will also make it definitely better for the town. So, and that's what we're here for. So, as you,
Sorry.
and it's.
No,
Go
I
ahead,
just had
Stephen.
two real quick ones. Is there any external equipment, HVAC, anything else? Is all of the equipment on the roof?
That is the current.
Okay, it doesn't show up in any of the renderings, that's why I'm
Yeah, well,
wondering.
that's there, the parapet.
Is parapet and it's all hidden behind, okay. Is there access to the roof, or is it in through the inside?
Again, the interior floor plan is
Yeah,
not
no,
finalized, but that.
Well, we're assuming it's
Yeah,
internal,
yeah,
right,
yeah.
okay. I had a question on the, if I'm coming down Ave from plan lower left and I'm trying to get to the gas, how do I, in a car, how do I get to those gas pumps? I know it sounds silly, but if I'm driving down here and I'm entering right here and going towards the gas pumps, how do I get to the gas pumps to fill up? Do I have to stop and turn around and go
Yeah.
around?
You would rotate the site within the site. I'm pretty sure that's how the traffic engineers.
Right, so I'm-
Peer review would do it. So you move
So
the
I'm
plan right,
coming in and I'm
From this
turning
way.
around,
correct.
I'm
You go like,
rotating around.
like this.
Yeah. Okay. There's also comments about, snow storage or not snow storage.
Yep.
Is it the intention to push the snow into the landscaping or to kill a parking space if necessary?
So we were able to agree with NRC and the planning board that we would be allowed to use the landscaping bed up top, but in reality, that's just for short term, everything's gonna be held off the site.
Okay,
So if we have the skid steer out there and it's moving snow and just needs to wait for the truck to come, they can
Right.
kind of do that, but there really is no space for it, so it will.
so that's what I'm getting at. It seems like you're gonna have to remove it anyway.
Yeah.
There's no fixed storage, so you wouldn't lose parking space. You also have in one of your diagrams that when deliveries are made, they're like a box truck, that they're parking basically just north of the tanks or right next to the other parking space. Is that? I think you have a diagram that shows there's your up truck parks right here. Make a delivery during the middle of the day.
So part of the conditions is off peak hours.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so the fueling truck will be within that area, most likely closer to the main road, the curvature of the main road. And then once we understand peak hours and stuff, we'll.
Well,
modify
your,
that.
deliveries of soda and everything else are using that same area.
Most likely, yeah.
Okay, all I'm getting at is you're asking people to circulate around the site to get into the gas station, you've got a delivery being made, to get a little difficult. That's all, and it's sort of going back to, you're gonna lose access to some parking during some of these activities. So maybe it's not wise to lose more parking spaces, I'm just, the parking is challenged.
Yeah, no, it's a challenge, and there is,
Yeah.
I think if the town suggests that 9 spaces is sufficient. And you come with 11, then I think you have too many.
Okay.
It's that simple. When the town determined that 9 is sufficient. 1 handicap space was already calculated in there, so. Do you need 2 EV spaces? I don't know. But I do think that's that's a hang up for me on this sideline because it's, yeah.
So I think
Anyway,
the EV
that-
spaces are required,
Yeah, it's regulated by
And-
structure.
and that postdates the parking requirements put in the zoning bylaw.
Yeah, okay,
So we have to have the 9. After that requirement, we now have to have 2 EV spaces that are not regular parking. I mean, I wouldn't call them parking spaces. I think they're more similar to when you pull up and pump gas. You know, that's not a parking space next to the fuel pump. And I would submit that although we're striping it, it's not a parking space available to a regular patron or an employee to park.
who's parking there then?
People who are coming and charging. I have an EV. And I pull up and I have an app that says where there's available charging. And I go there and I charge when I am running low and I'm not close to home. And I'm not necessarily going for any other reason. In fact, usually I'm not. This is a requirement that we had to add. I submit that it's not actually parking spaces.
Great.
That, so, and so we're actually, if we eliminate 2 parking spaces, I think we're not meeting the intent of the bylaw.
And I will just add, just saying something, I did speak to our future neighbor. And they both are, they're EV, they own EV cars and they're excited for the charging station, so
That's good to hear.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're using it while they're running their business next door.
I hear you there, I hear you. I mean, there's plenty of people who will be there and people who will, your customers that, come into the store, want to buy something, just shoot in that because they drive it, that's fine. They just say there's a parking space and use it as a regular parking space because there's plenty of EV vehicles out there.
So what I'll say is, when you need to charge your EV, you're not just running into a store and saying, I'll charge my EV for 3 minutes while I'm buying a soda, because you're not charging, like, you're getting no charge out of it.
No, what I'm saying that if you want to buy a soda, you're going to be using one of those parking spaces.
No, you won't because
Because you're in an EV and those spaces are available. You don't have to charge.
Oh, you have to
Oh.
charge. You get, if you
You
park in
get a
an
fine.
EV
Yeah.
charging station and you
And you
you're not charging,
That's a good point.
yeah, you get charged.
Yeah.
And also
Usually-
remember,
I mean,
Concord, yeah.
That's a real thing.
And also remember the fundamental laziness of people. They will
Mhm.
park closer. Those are farther. So if you don't have to charge and you're driving an EV, and I drive my husband sometime, you're gonna pick the closest parking spot, which are gonna be the ones right there. So I think this is one of those things where we always want less impervious surface. We always want to kind of minimize parking, but if we restrict it too much, we inevitably, I will say we, when I used to sit on the planning board, the feedback is when you cut down parking too much, even if it meets the requirement, the complaints from the neighbors and the negative impact on the surrounding businesses and properties it happens every time. So I'm always hesitant to over park a parcel, but I feel like this really kind of hits the sweet spot of maybe you have one extra spot that you could lose, but it's really on the edge. And I feel like this is it's a funny parcel.
It really is.
And we're working with something that's just, it's not standard. And I would be apt to give them a little extra leeway on that one or maybe 2 extra parking spots, just to kind of increase the flow there as well.
And if you took a comparison to 7-Eleven, there's often 7 to 9 cars using parking for 7-Eleven sometimes. Rush hour and
Yeah.
after.
as I said, I live next door to a gas station with a Dunkin' Donuts in it, and I'm just not seeing vehicles there. Not to that amount. So,
I would say I'm with keeping the parking ideal. The material, the impression I got was, the concern was more like, there's still not enough versus there's too much. And yeah, I know the gas station you're talking about, but when I drive to work, I pass like the new Nuria down in Knobskin, and it's more of like the retail is the destination versus it's like, I don't know, gas station, convenience store, and those parts get still installed.
Right, we know where we're at, you know. Jonathan already said it's gonna be continued, and yeah, I definitely is gonna be continued, so, so, right, so we'd like to have a motion to that effect. It will be 725 on July 9th.
So I move that we continue the application of Jonathan Silverstein et al. On behalf of Concord Country Store for a special permanent site plan review to renovate the gas station, make improvements at 166 Commonwealth Ave to July 9th at 7:25 PM.
I second that motion.
All those in favor? Aye. See you in a month. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the time and the feedback. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
We said it was gonna be a long evening. Again, let me make this announcement again, since it's about an hour ago that I made the announcement. If there's anybody online who's waiting for our 735 application on 262 Virginia Road, that will be continued. Excuse me. That application will be continued without discussion until our July 9th meeting. So if you wanna leave, then please do so, but you're obviously welcome to stay. Anyway, so and we'll do the official continuation when we get to that agenda item. 705, David and Maria Ann Schubert, the applicant owner, for special permit on the zoning bylaw section 715 and 11.6 to construct a 453 square foot deck that extends a non-conforming front yard setback to Riverdale Road from 9.8 feet to 5.7 feet at 111 Pilgrim Road. Anybody here to speak for the applicant?
Yes, I am. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can.
Hi, my name is Tom Day. I'm an architect with Robert Day Architects, and I'm working with David and Marianne Schubert on their project at 111 Pilgrim. And I will share my screen to walk through the project. Is the slideshow on the screen?
It is,
Yes.
it is. Yeah.
Okay. So this project is for, sorry, I'm having a hard time controlling the, give me 1 second. Okay, so this project is at 111 Pilgrim Road. It's for a rear deck on the backside of David and Marianne's house, which is located on the Sudbury River. So this is the front of the house at 111 Pilgrim. This is the site on Pilgrim Road. It's a long pencil-shaped lot that extends from Pilgrim Road back approximately 500 feet to the river. The area of the site that's in question is the back portion of the house, which currently has a flagstone patio. The first floor, living floor of the house is approximately 1 story above grade in the backyard. And so there's a stair that descends from that living floor down to the back flagstone patio. And the proposed project is to build a deck in the location of this flagstone patio. So this is the existing patio and rear and side elevations. So you can see the stair coming down from the living floor. And the project proposes to use the footprint of the patio, very close to the footprint of the patio, to put a rectangular shaped deck and then use the corner to bring the stair down to the backyard. And our special permit application is asking for relief from the side yard setback from 9.8 feet of the existing offset to the property line to 5.7 feet, which would be the new corner of the deck. The adjacent property is a paper street called Riverdale Road, and all the abutters beyond this paper street have been notified of the project. This is the front of the house. This is the back elevation where the deck will be located, replacing that stair coming down on the left side of the house. And this is a view of the patio as you approach from the side yard. And then as you turn the corner. And then looking back towards the front of the house, standing in the backyard. So our project basically locates the deck over the existing patio and maintains the patio surface below so they can store kayaks and things like that under the deck. But the idea is to have relatively minimal impact to the yard itself. As part of this application, David and Marianne submitted a notice of intent to the Natural Resource Commission and received a notice to proceed order of conditions at the April meeting for the Natural Resource Commission, which includes providing over 1,200 square feet of wetland mitigation to remove some of their yard and bring back native species as a way to offset the impacts of this deck. So that's our project, and I'm excited to hear comments and further discussion if you have any.
Thanks, sir. Questions from members of the board?
I'm sorry, guys, I have an issue here, which is, for me, a patio is not a structure.
Yeah.
And, you know, we ran into this issue on that old Marlboro Road property where we've always understood that extending the non-conforming structure is possible as long as you stay the same distance from the lot line. And yes, they're extending the non-conforming structure, which is the house. But unfortunately, because it's angled against the lot line, you're getting closer. And I think that's a line we haven't crossed. I'm not sure I want to cross it here, because then you can just go put in a patio and then say like, hey, I've got a non-conforming structure in this setback, and now I can build, you know, a deck on top of it and then enclose the deck, and we sort of lose the line there. So
I'm
I have no problem with the project. I think it's great. I just like, it's just unfortunate that the rules are the way they are.
I totally agree. We should just get questions answered, and then we'll bring it back. But yeah, so let's no further questions about the project itself. By the board, I want to ask the public whether there's any public questions. Either here or online. Online, please use your raised hand, the raised hand function, if you have any question or comment. Anybody? Marco? Seeing none, I will close the public comment section of this hearing and bring it back to the board for discussion. I'm totally with you. I was looking at this, and it's like I do want to find a way to approve this. And I just haven't found it. I mean, extending is, to me, is not extending the non-conformity, right? If this, not increasing the non-conformity. Your non-conformity is, what is it,
9.8.
9.8, and then you should stay at 9.8. You can't, because if that patio was on the property, on the setback line, and you wanted to build this deck, then you need a variance. And, you know, if it was totally conforming, you would need a variance for that. And so the fact that you're like, well, I'm already in the setback, so now kind of all bets are off, I can go as far as I want, is sort of, I have an issue with that. And I totally agree with you, Ravi. It's a line that we, that's difficult to cross. And I really would like to find a reasoning why we can approve this.
I have a thought on this, that would take us to the very end of 7.1.5. Where it says that by special permit, we can allow such extension, et cetera, where it will not be substantially more detrimental than the existing non-conforming structure to the neighborhood. Here's how this parcel is distinguished from where we've seen this before, and I agree in the other situations, it's been very important, but here we have this paper road. And so as I look at it, that really, my son has a friend who lives in this neighborhood, so I know it quite well because I go around the block to turn around. And at this point, I believe it's just trees.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
So that I would say that this is different because the lot line it's not affecting another parcel where people are living. And I would say that makes this situation different.
Yeah. I do believe there were some letters of support from the neighbors here as well.
There were, I mean.
There were,
this-
so that's.
That parcel isn't deeded to anyone else, so we're not interfering on anyone else's property rights. We're also not changing a visual pattern in the neighborhood because it really is quite far back, and that really is not like, that doesn't have a lot of visual emphasis in the neighborhood. So for me, that distinguishes it. But I agree that in general, that setback line is a very important one to hold on to.
Yeah.
This, I think that's the difference, and that for me is where this could be, I could see a way to approving it.
Yeah, and like I said, I want to approve it. I have no problem with it causing any detriment. It's just the way the bylaws written.
Paper road, let's say more about that. I hadn't heard that term until today. Is that a term of art within architecture?
No, it's
Just
just
civil.
a road that's there on paper, it's just not built.
Okay,
It was laid out for the town, but never used.
right. So then I wonder, does that change our application?
No, it's still,
Well,
it's still.
you know, because that's the other thing is, it's a front setback, right? It's not the side or rear, so I think front plays heavier.
In that, well, but it's front on a road that doesn't exist.
It exists, it's just not built out,
It's not
but
built.
it's front setback.
But the house exists in the middle of the road.
No, it's a corner lot.
No,
It's
those-
what-
You know, but the paper
Yeah.
road,
Yeah.
if we're saying the paper road counts as a road,
Yeah.
the house exists in the middle of the road.
No,
So
no, those
No.
lines are the,
Yeah, see how the corner turns?
Yeah, I know.
okay, is that,
That's the road.
That's the-
That
that-
curve.
okay,
That's line.
okay, I was looking at this and I was like, I'm
Yeah.
confused as to how, okay.
Yeah.
I was.
Yeah.
So I guess my question is that if under your detriment
Mhm.
kind of argument,
Mhm.
that it's not a detriment to the neighborhood,
Mhm.
can you ever make the argument that the mitigation that they're offering offers a benefit, which would, in terms of, if we're looking at the overall impact of this project on the neighborhood,
Mhm.
not only is it not a detriment in that it doesn't impact sightline, it doesn't impact a neighbor, what have you, the change in the property and the mitigation being proposed actually offers a benefit to the neighborhood. So overall, there truly is no detriment.
Yeah, but.
I mean, that's,
So
I don't
So
know,
you're
that's my
asking if
question.
I could
That's my
characterize
question
it.
is can you make that argument? I don't know, that's the
We're
question.
afraid of setting a precedent.
Oh, absolutely, no, I understand that.
We can articulate this not that we ever want to go to a variance, but this seems to me like we're in a unique circumstance. And that's what has me wondering if the rule applies differently.
I'd also,
I think I think the problem is, right, in 714, it's like. If you increase the existing non-conformity, you require a variance, and then if you trip into variance land. It's like the topography of the lot, it's not what's unique, it's like where the house is and how it's handled.
there's no hardship. This is a discretionary piece, and frankly, you could design that patio any way you want and avoid this issue. So,
The patio or more
Patio has to be
centered.
More like a,
no, I mean, you've got tons of square footage there. You could literally, don't make it orthogonal, go follow the line.
yeah, I think you have to follow the one.
Yeah.
I just, I don't know that I can get.
I mean, if you're getting into variants and exceptions, then you're looking for hardship and everything else. There isn't any. Right? This is just a discretionary, I want to make it rectangular to show the rest of the house.
Okay, so knowing that it could be done, but maybe it's moved a little bit.
But does it increase the incursion into the wetlands by relocating it? Was that the intent, was to mitigate the incursion into the wetlands by placing it there?
We already into it.
Yeah, it
Right,
just,
and
it's,
so-
it's
Right,
left
but if you're taking that mass.
mass and going
Right,
further
yeah.
and back, maybe that's the,
You further in the buffer, but.
yeah. I'm not sure.
And would also say with variance, yeah, no, I don't think it survives that, never mind.
Well, if
The
you-
shape is the shape of the lot.
yeah.
Mm.
The other thing, if you go back to the pictures, it
Yeah.
looks like they're already. If you go
It's
to
the way
the
the
back,
house is sited on the lot.
yeah,
Yeah,
there's one more picture, I think that's closer to the left. If you try to imagine where that 9 feet is. They're already across on their
Mhm.
landscaping, they're already across and across their property line. So the impression that, yeah, it's big, it's not so bad for them, they're already. Working their way across the property line already.
Hmm.
Cause just imagine 9 feet, 9 feet off of that corner. The property line is
They'd
running right
almost
through
have
that
to
lawn.
try to acquire the other land if they wanted to do it that way.
Well, I'm just saying that they're working their way across the property line by putting what appears to be a proper size thing at the patio. Great, you don't even realize you're already encroaching into, with your landscaping and everything else across the property line. If you-
The setback line, patios, et cetera, are perfectly fine, right?
Right, no.
Perfectly fine, but that shouldn't be.
An excuse to build something there.
I don't disagree on those facts. I just think that this situation, they apply maybe differently. The rule applies differently because of it really is next to like just a.
It's
An
an
open
imaginary,
Yeah.
it's a, but we need.
But we just have to, I mean, it doesn't apply to that.
So,
So, yeah, I think if the house was like this and the lot line was like this, and you're carrying it on like this, it's just a no-brainer, right?
Mhm.
It's just that like, because you're
Yeah.
getting closer than the 9.8, it just trips that line that came up on that old Barn Road.
Yes, I
Yeah,
remember that
okay.
well. Yeah,
Again, there, the neighbor was like, I'm fine with it,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But can we ask the architect a question?
sure, of course,
If,
of course.
so, if the deck were to be located differently, do you run afoul of wetland requirements?
So the position of the deck right now, to get a deck that's a size that's worth building, we feel that this size is a decent size. The property owners really enjoy their location, that they use the backyard and access to the river frequently. And so to get a deck that's proper size, really, we are running right up against kind of the limit of how far we can go, in this case, plan left and away from the house, because we're coming up against the wetland buffer zones. So we've pulled it back as far as we can, so we're not extending further out to the rear of the house or further out to the left, in order to respect the wetland buffer zone as much as possible. We went through multiple rounds with the Natural Resource Commission to make sure that that's very finely tuned. And we've provided over 1,200 square feet of native species in order to offset the deck surface itself. And I would like to just say I appreciate all the comments, and our request for this application is exactly as it's being described now. We have had, multiple conversations with the town over the course of several months with this project and understand that the patio is not considered structure and that we are in the setback as an increase. But our request is for the zoning board to potentially see that, given that the adjacent property is a paper road and that the house is rotated substantially on the site, given the way that the street was laid out, this is potentially more of a unique condition with the offset from the wetland, the rotation and the paper street. And we're hoping that there might be a way, forward with this, but all points are understood.
So,
So not, you would say not feasible, just for, again, I'm not a land person, but
The-
not feasible to build what would be useful to build located in a different spot on the lot.
This is the only location really that it can go on the lot. In terms of there might be ways to shape it, but we're trying to kind of balance, constructability and
Sure.
usable surface area of the dock itself. So, or the deck itself.
Yep, okay, thank you.
so
For me, you just gotta stay 9.8 and have a different shape deck. That's where I am.
and I'm with you on that one. So, Mr. Day, you hear where this is going?
Yes.
Usually in this case, well, you have three options. You can make us vote. You can withdraw your application without prejudice, or you can even ask us to continue to next month and see whether there is another argument to be made, or but you heard us on that one, that 9.8 is a pretty hard line that we don't see that is going to be able to be crossed. So
And I would say if you have a design that is the 9.8, you're still gonna need the special permit, right? So if you're thinking that direction, then the withdrawal might not make sense, right? So
right.
either another argument or another design might be what you wanna come back with.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the first option? Was that a redesign?
The first option was force a vote.
You can make a vote, you can withdraw without prejudice, or you can ask us for continuance, sort of punting on this and then thinking about what you want to do. Because I mean, these are tough decisions, and I can see that you might not want to make a decision at this time of day and getting all this new information from us. So, continuance might be the easiest, because you need, as Ms. Fia said, you still need if you come back with a redesign, you still need a special permit from us. And, then you can always, if we continue, you can always withdraw at that point in time, in the next meeting, so.
Theo, can I just ask one question?
Yeah, go ahead.
And maybe this is a question for Kevin as well. If I understand the zoning, the stairs can be in the setback, but not the deck. Isn't there something in the zoning that says you can have stairs going into a setback, but not?
Yeah,
structure?
stairs are exempt.
Right, so,
Without,
yeah,
Ooh.
example, so that you could reshape the deck and run the stairs down the side, and that can be in a setback, but not the platform itself. And that might give you some
Yeah.
area, but
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
again, lessen your impact into.
Yeah.
So,
Good.
just another thought, because if your view out is good, your stair is actually blocking your view from those lower windows. Maybe if it's off to the side, it's less impactful, it can be in the setback, and then the deck can be reshaped a little bit to give you some more.
Yeah. Mr. Day.
Okay, I think we will, do I need to give you an answer this second, or can we come back to you in a few minutes?
I think we should continue. I think the board thinks you should continue. That is your wisest job.
It gives you the most options.
Yeah.
We'll do the continuance.
Okay, can I have a motion?
Great. I move that we continue for David and Mary Ann Schubert, the application for a special permit under zoning bylaw 7.1.5 and 11.6 to construct a 453 square foot deck that extends the non-conforming front yard setback to Riverdale Road from 9.8 feet to 5.7 feet at 111 Pilgrim Road
To July 9th.
to July 9th at 7:30.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'll see you in about a month, Mr. Day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Keith Moritz, applicant owner. This is the 7:10 meeting.
Getting along.
Applicant owner, but we're catching up now. The applicant owner for special permit on the zoning bylaw section 715 and 11.6 to demolish the existing 2,283 square foot single family dwelling and construct a 5,780 square foot two-story dwelling with attached two-car garage, which increases the gross floor area by more than 50% at 448 Sudbury Road. The applicant has requested a continuance to July 9th, and it's already scheduled at 7 o'clock. So Ravi is moving that we're
So moved.
So
continuing.
moved.
So
I
you
second.
second that?
Yep.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I told you we're gonna catch
Zipping
up.
along.
Hillary and Langley Steinert, applicant owners for special permit on the zoning bylaw sections 4222, 713, and 11.6 to reconstruct a portion of a legal non-conforming detached garage located 6.7 feet from the front yard property line and extend the front yard setback to 5.6 and construct an attached 482 square foot additional dwelling unit at 199 Nashottucket Road. Anybody here to speak?
I
for the
am.
applicant?
I am the architect, Jennifer Lyford.
Excellent. Good. Go ahead, please.
Great. Gonna share my screen also. Good evening. My name is Jennifer Lyford. I'm the architect for the project at 199 Nashottuck Road. We are seeking a special permit to reconstruct and expand an existing non-conforming accessory structure and to establish a detached accessory dwelling unit within that structure. The property is a through lot with frontage on both Nashottuck Road and Muscataquid Road. The primary residence is accessed from Nashottuck Road, while the existing garage is accessed through Muscataquid Road. The existing garage appears on the 1927 Sanborn Fire Insurance map and has been part of the neighborhood for nearly a century. The building and roof are located approximately 6.7 feet from the property line, where a 40-foot setback is required, making it a pre-existing non-conforming structure. The existing building has experienced ongoing water and rodent infiltration issues during the design process. We considered complete demolition and reconstruction, but preferred the approach to preserve the historic fieldstone east wall and retaining wall and incorporate them into the new design. Preserving the east garage wall establishes the front edge of the building and maintains the existing building setback condition that existed for decades. The proposal reconstructs the existing building, retains portions of the original fieldstone foundation, and expands the structure to the west to accommodate a second garage bay and provide a code-compliant second means of egress for the dwelling unit above. The first floor offers space for 2 cars, stairs, and a covered entry. The second floor contains a 825 square foot 1-bedroom accessory dwelling unit. Parking is provided on site, and the property complies with all other zoning requirements. Priorities of the project include improving the appearance, durability, and functionality of the structure while maintaining its historic character. The existing garage has a gambrel roof, but lacks the overhangs and architectural details found on the main house. This is an image of the existing rake overhang. And then these are images of the existing house. The proposal introduces roof overhangs and architectural detailing that are consistent with the property's shingle style character while improving long-term weather protection. The design also preserves the existing fieldstone wall, maintains the traditional gambrel roof form, and creates a building that is compatible with the architectural character of both the primary residence and the surrounding neighborhood. We believe the proposal satisfies the requirements of section 7.1.3. Building out the roof trim to the proposed 5.6-foot setback isn't for the purpose of increasing a useful square footage. It is to improve the architecture. The front face of the building remains the existing stone wall. The project improves the structure's appearance, functionality, and durability while maintaining the long-standing relationship of the building to the street. We also believe the proposal satisfies section 4.2.2.2 because the requested accessory dwelling unit required setback relief for detached structure relates to an existing non-conforming structure. The project introduces a one-bedroom dwelling unit without altering the residential character of the property. The proposal will not create significant impacts on traffic, parking, utilities, municipal services, or the natural environment. Parking is provided on-site, and the overall scale of the building remains consistent with accessory buildings commonly found in the neighborhood. In many respects, the project represents an improvement over existing conditions. It proposes a structure that is architecturally stronger, more durable, and more compatible with the surrounding neighborhood, while preserving important historic elements of the existing building. And I also want to point out that the setback from the street, I'm very aware of it. I understand that the preference is always to not expand an existing non-conforming condition. I also found that reference in section 7.1.5 prior to this. I also tried to find an alternate solution. Like, is there a way that we can keep that existing stone foundation, which is really important to us for the historic significance, but also to make a design that works. So this was the solution that I'd come up with. It looks fine from the front. It looks awful from the side, actually. And I even did a 3D rendering showing. So this is just a very quick kind of eave condition. This is the stone wall. So this is what we're proposing. We wrap the trim. In our proposal, we were looking for 1'1" relief. I look back at the details. We can achieve a beautiful detail that works with a 10-inch overhang relief. So like I'd be fine reducing that. I did this just like, can we make it happen? And it pains me. So I'm trying. And thank you. I'd be happy to answer any questions. Daniel Carr from Stamsky McNary is also present and happy to address any specific site-related questions you may have.
Thank you. Questions from the board?
Is the 10 inches just roof overhang?
It is. It's only roof overhang. We're not adding any additional square footage to the house.
Any questions from the board?
As you know.
Go ahead, the architect.
So you're keeping the fieldstone wall that was in the picture,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
Are all the rest of the stone that you're using around the building gonna match that?
Absolutely. We're going to be keeping, the intent is to, when we demolish the other areas, we're going to keep the existing stones and rebuild it. or Kistler Knapp is the contractor. They care a lot. We care a lot. So we really want to make sure that it's done right.
I just want to make sure the aesthetic that is, we're highlighting that corner because it's very visible. The
Yep.
wall that's adjoining the open parking space is right there. The walkway that climbs up is nice. Just looking to make sure it's the same on the other side.
Yes.
How far is the garage door from the road edge? Not the property line, the road, the proper road edge.
Daniel, do you have that information?
Yeah, I can get that in 1 sec.
All I'm implying that, yeah, everybody knows that you're dealing with the logic of the property line, but there's also the logic of a snow plow passing by and other things that you know. Or
Yeah,
UPS
the garage,
truck.
Good point. Yeah, equally threatening.
the garage is about 15.5 feet from the edge of the paved road.
That
And when you're
doesn't
adding
sound
the
right.
second garage bay, is
No,
there?
that doesn't, can you go to the plan? That doesn't sound right.
Oh,
From the center line of the road or the edge of the road?
From the edge of the road.
the edge of that might be accurate because this is where the edge of the road is, and that's the property line.
Okay, because that was gonna answer my next question. You've got two parking spaces backing into the road. And how much room do you have before you hit the road with a car?
Yeah, well, it's
15
not- about 15 feet,
Yeah,
yeah,
so
and it's
you-
not
you-
a very well-traveled road, right?
Yeah, no,
But, and it does,
so
it does, it strengthens one of the arguments, I think, that there is not a parking space behind the garage, right? You
Right.
have to park in
the garage,
in the
yeah.
garage.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the argument, I assume that new parking space, and don't correct me on this, I assume that this new parking space is for the ADU.
Yes.
So that
Okay.
I think is important.
Yeah.
Any other more questions from the board?
So for the second garage bay, is there a curb between the garage and the road, or is it just like, you're just gonna have a little more pavement and you can get in off the road?
Just short of it. It's a short drive, right? Yeah. But no more questions from the board, at least for now, so I'm bringing it to the public. Any questions from the public? Here or online, please raise your hand, use the raise hand function. Seeing none, we'll close the public comment section, bring it back to the board. I had the same issue here. The exact same issue as with the Pilgrim Road application where you can't increase the encroachment.
Mhm.
So, but again, oh, by the way, sorry, I forgot, but I think we had some some comments from neighbors here. They're not, I don't think they're posted, but there were some comments from neighbors saying that they like this, and that is always, I think,
Okay.
a good indication. It's not the
Mhm.
end all be all, but a good indication that it fits in the neighborhood. If the neighbors all think it's good, then I think that's good. If you, and again, I had the same issue here that you can't increase the encroachment. But it's a good project, so we want to try to make this work. And I think on the very end at 4.222, it says that a reduction in the required setbacks for a detached additional dwelling unit is, that we can provide relief for that.
Mhm.
So where this is in a more encroachment, but it's for an ADU, so we can require that relief, and therefore I was asking, like, well, it's a garage really. But as that garage, that parking space is for the ADU, it's, I think I can live with that.
Yeah, and we did actually have one case where they kept the wall the same, but it was the old roof didn't make sense without a little overhang, and so we gave a few inches on the roof overhang in the past. So if we can, if the 10 inches is roof overhang, that helps me too. But I do agree. I think we have the authority under this.
Yep.
Or to
I agree with
do
that.
this as a special permit.
So just for my own edification, so because it's an ADU.
Yep.
We can allow the increase in encroachment from 6.7 to 5.6. If this was not an ADU, if this was just, we're building a larger garage.
No, we have the one.
Then
line.
deny. Okay.
Then we got, yeah, so we get, the board may grant a special permit, for relief for an additional dwelling unit. Blah, blah, blah. And if there's or a reduction in the required setbacks for a detached additional dwelling unit,
Mhm.
provided that the desired relief may be granted without substantial detriment to the neighborhood and without derogating from the intended purpose of this bylaw.
Okay.
And, you know, the letters from the neighbors then come
Mhm.
in, play a bit of a role that
Mhm.
the neighbors think it fits in. Yeah,
Mhm.
then it's sort of like, well, we to say that it doesn't, right?
Mhm.
Also, the opposing houses are further setbacks. They're not, even though you're making it bigger, their setbacks, their visibility to it is not increased.
So that being said.
I would make a motion.
I would love you to make a motion.
One
thing to
Okay.
include for potential conditions for this, our engineering department did say that the application should provide a statement from the engineer of record confirming that no additional runoff from the property as a result of the improvement will leave the site and flow onto adjacent properties or the public road. And then, the public health director stated that if the board decides to grant the special permit for the ADU, the health division recommends the following condition be incorporated. Prior to the issuance of the building permit for the ADU, the applicant shall submit to the health division for review and approval Form S, building review.
Noted. Okay,
But I just want to clarify, are we approving the 13 inches or just the 10 inches?
I approve the original
Okay
application.
with that, okay.
I have no problem with that.
okay. I move that we grant Hillary and Langley Steinert's application for a special permit under zoning bylaw 4.2.2.2, 7.1.3, and 11.6 to reconstruct a portion of a legal non-conforming detached garage located 6.7 feet from the front property yard line and extend the front yard setback to 5.6 feet and construct an attached 482 square foot additional dwelling unit at 820.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's a
Oh,
typo
There
there.
was, sorry, okay, an additional 825 square foot additional dwelling unit at 199 Nashotah Road with conditions as stated in the record
And-
immediately previous to this motion
And the standard conditions.
and the standard conditions.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations and good luck.
Thank you
with the
very
project. Looks like a nice project.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Mhm. Okay, 720 backyard ADUs, the applicant on behalf of Bradley Stetson, the owner, for special permit on the zoning bylaw section 4222 and 11.6 to allow the construction of a 998 square foot detached additional dwelling unit on a legal non-conforming lot at 131 Harrington Avenue. Anybody here to speak for the applicant?
Yes, my name is Tim Riley. I'm with Backyard ADUs. With us tonight is Christina Stetson, as well as her father, mother, and child.
Always.
Graduates preschool tomorrow.
Oh.
So this is a really exciting project. This is what ADUs are all about, multi-generational living. Christina will be able to move to the property, take over the main house, and her parents move into the backyard into a aging in place setup. We're here in front of you tonight because there's that nice section of 4.2.2.2.2.2 where we do not have enough frontage. So we are pre-existing non-conforming. We have 75 feet of frontage. We need 125. All of our documents are in there. We got that note today from the health department. We do have a septic plan. Everything's ready to go, but obviously we want to get through this hurdle, and then that way we can schedule construction and get our building permits. Hopefully get folks moved in 2026, but we'll see.
I already live with my parents right now, so
So
didn't happen.
Good.
we'd love to answer your questions and.
Give me
Any
a
questions from the board?
question.
So I just want to clarify, because we have Virginia Road on this agenda, even though we're not talking about it. That is a frontage exception lot, which means this 6.2.5 of the bylaw applies, and you've got a site the dwelling where the width is at least 80% of the required
No.
front.
This is not a frontage.
But this is not a frontage exception, this is a non-conforming lot. So we're not.
We don't have to apply that.
That's
Correct,
right.
correct.
And I just want to distinguish those,
Thank
because
you
if we approve the
very
meeting
much.
use totally different,
No, totally different.
narrower lot,
Totally
I just want to distinguish
Yeah,
that from,
good.
it denies the other one.
And good to have it in the record.
Any other questions?
The only question I had on the plans where, see you're extending the driveway back, right?
Yeah,
But I don't see where the parking for the main house is gonna be after you extend the driveway, assuming you have to drive down the driveway. Are you taking over some other space on the lawn behind the main house to park the existing cars?
Let me pull up the plan, so.
It's a small question, but it has to be
Yeah.
impervious surface and.
Yeah, impervious surface and all this, we're, sort of well under the limits here.
Yeah.
The age appropriate design here is extending that parking to the ADU,
Right.
having the turnaround there. And then it will be sort of up to Christina and her family as they live there, know how parking will work.
I mean, I can answer it if you.
Well, no, I went by the property and saw 3 cars lined up. I'm like, okay, where are those 3 cars gonna go when
Yeah,
are they gonna turn and
did
park?
you see
behind?
them on the grass next to the grapevine?
I saw kind of that.
Yeah, that's like growing up, my mom would park in the nice paved part. And my dad would park his truck in the grass, so,
Right. Well, it's just a,
yeah,
we know that you have to put a parking space in the
Yes.
ADU. It's just a displacement question.
yeah,
You are addressing the remaining parking on site, but it isn't drawn on the plan as impervious surface. So I'm getting at, it's like you can park on the lawn all you want.
yeah,
That's
exactly. That's what we do now.
a minor point, but.
Yeah. So the ADU has is there an attic in this ADU or?
We have our utilities in the attic, so all of our hot water heater up there, right here,
No, but no basement.
correct. Yep.
Attics are cheaper. Good for you guys now.
Yeah, basically, it's big, it's big.
Let me, with no further questions from the board, let me bring it to the public, open it up for public comment, either here or online. Please use the raise hand function. Seeing none, I'll close the public comment section of this application and bring it back to the board for discussion.
Yep, I think it meets the requirements, they're putting it in the back of the lot. I don't see detriment to that.
And were there letters from neighbors as well?
Sorry, say that again.
Were the letters from neighbors? Did you get any?
There weren't any there.
No, weren't.
We live next to a farm and it is high season for planting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Good
this
little
is-
support. You're next to
Take our
the
word.
field. You're next to the
Yeah,
field
Yeah,
and maybe the chickens sometimes.
Yeah.
some, all the time,
All the
right?
time.
Oh,
Like,
on the other side.
No, they
No,
don't.
chickens on that side.
chicken- Yeah,
Okay.
All
they're
right.
there right now. And we have Bob who wanders into my parents' yard all the time.
The chickens are okay with it.
They want this. Without my parents having an ADU, we would, it just would like disrupt
The wrong way.
like our whole lives. So the chickens are like, yes, please. Because
Look at-
my daughter feeds them all the time. She plays with the Marshall kid. Like it's just, we're like a little, it's where I grew up. So it's our little compound.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I would make a motion to approve the application of backyard ADUs on behalf of Bradley Stetson for a special permit under zoning bylaw sections 42222 and 11.6 to allow the construction of a 998 square foot detached ADU on a legal non-conforming lot at 131 Harrington Avenue with standard conditions.
And incorporating health division
And
and
incorporating
engineering.
the health condition
Yes.
and engineering information that we received.
Good.
I second that motion.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Congratulations, good
Thank you very
luck.
much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Getting to the end of it, and I know some people have been waiting a long time, but I do want to.
He's very fit.
I do want to take a brief recess here.
Sure.
Just a couple minutes.
Okay.
He's waiting.
so he went.
Quiet.
I'm determined to not get high photos, but this is.
And because our house is a non-conforming lot for so many reasons that have changed the law, we are going through this special permit. So I am joined here by James Bailey, our architect. If you guys have any question about the site, what are we doing here? But basically just a growing family. We would like to have a bigger space for our kids as they're having cars. And also I work from home all the time and I have been stuck working from my main bedroom. I need my space and be like, just we have a very nice yard in the back and unfortunately I'm not taking full advantage of it. So now as we are going through this, we try to keep the same aesthetic as the town, as the neighborhood. Neighbors, all of them are very supportive for this. We have been talking about this literally over a year and a half. I'm happy where we are here and hopefully we can get all of your approval to move forward. James, you wanna come in? Little.
This is it.
Yes.
Yes.
James?
Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, and can you, I tried to share my screen. Can everybody see it?
Yep.
Okay, forgive me, I have a little bit of a sore throat, so I'll try to power through this. So as Mona said, this is an existing non-conforming lot. We have about 77.5 feet of frontage. It is very, very narrow, very deep lot. This is the existing site plan with the single family house towards the front, and there's a 2-car garage behind that. So this is what they're proposing, demolishing the existing 2-car garage. And then everything in red would be what's new. So the red footprint you see behind the garage would be the new 4-car garage with the ADU. There is an existing turnaround in the driveway. So what we want to do is extend that. So the turnaround remains and there's one more parking space for the ADU. I can go through some site photos. This is just from across the street looking at 411 Bedford Road's right there in the foreground with the garage in the background. This is just from Nancy Road showing the 2 adjacent neighbors. This would be the garage that is going to be demolished, and the new footprint would be about 12 feet behind that. Same thing, this is showing the other side of the garage with the very deep, relatively flat. I think there's a gentle slope towards the rear, but otherwise it's just a very large, very empty lot, underutilized. I believe the front of the proposed building would be right about where you see that trampoline, give or take, maybe a little bit closer than that. Just more pictures. This is in the rear of the lot looking towards the front, the garage. And then this is actually on the stairs of the existing garage looking towards the back. So this is kind of the blank canvas where they'd like to put this garage ADU addition. And like Mona said, this this project doesn't, it meets all the dimensional regulations. It meets all setbacks, building height, FAR. We really require this special permit just based on the non-conforming the lot. That's really, I mean, in an effort to kind of speed things up and save time, that's all I have. If you want to see the floor plans, I'm happy to walk you through them, answer any questions that you do have. But that's kind of my presentation for now.
Great, thank you. Thank you for speaking it up.
Was this the application where they talked about keeping the basement foundation above the groundwater level? Or am I missing that up?
Not that I know of.
No.
Okay, it might be. I know, but basement, is there a basement in this building?
Yes.
Actually, 8 years ago, I bid on this house and you beat me.
No.
If you've been in the house, you realize that it's very important to have some more storage
Yeah.
space, so I think the basement is absolutely necessary.
Yes, yes.
Good. Any other questions from the board?
I just want to note, we've got a lot of good comments from neighbors, I
Yeah.
think 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's good. Seeing if neighbors, opening it up to the public, either here or online. If you're online, please use the raised hand function. Seeing none, closing the public comment section, bringing it back to the board and for discussion and motion.
Just make one point. This is a very large building for an ADU, but understanding that's a 4-car garage with a second floor storage and a full basement storage. And the ADU is really a small portion compared to the rest of the larger portion of the building. Just
Yeah.
when people look at this as an ADU project and look at the square footage, you have to separate the garage component completely from the square footage review.
Yeah.
But there is also a basement underneath underneath the ADU, which is not part of the ADU
Mhm.
and not measured. So it's a little complicated when you look through the plans, but there's a lot of building here. So
Yeah.
from an impact to the neighborhood, this building is actually bigger than the existing house,
Mhm.
about the same size as the existing house. Luckily, the adjoining lots are on either side. One is the town's
Mhm.
and the other is, I don't know if it's a
It's just
conservation.
conservation.
Conservation, so there's no impact on that from the size. And it is set back considerably from the road, so, and it's hidden by the main house, so
Yeah.
just pointing it out when we look at other ADUs and goes, wow, you approved a 3,000 square foot ADU, it's not a 3,000 square foot ADU.
Yeah.
But you said the basement was not connected to the ADU?
No,
No.
No.
Like currently we don't. You wanna go? Currently, there is no basement.
Okay,
We
okay.
just have the detached garage. The
Yeah.
plan is because we are growing family and I have
No,
like,
but once the new building has a basement,
that's a
and
basement.
is that accessible from the ADU?
no,
No, it's accessible from the garage, you go underneath the
Yeah.
ADU and.
And then,
Yeah.
but
which
it's like,
will
okay, but it's
pertain
not,
to the current house.
but
Yeah,
it's not,
Yeah.
not part of the ADU.
Right.
correct.
Just-
Okay, that's where I was getting
Yeah.
at.
And if the ADU wasn't there, the rest of it, I think would still be by right. Because we're not
Mhm. Yeah,
over
yeah,
50%, right?
yeah,
So,
yep.
So.
It's just, there's a lot of scrutiny with ADUs
Yeah.
coming up,
Yeah, we
and
want to
just
keep our
Mhm,
record.
mhm.
keep our record straight, that,
Yeah.
you know, very clear that it was not a huge ADU that we approved, that's all.
Great, yeah. Good.
Thanks. I move that we approve the application of Myron Munaciala for a special permit on the zoning bylaw section 4222 and 11.6 to construct attached 999 square foot additional dwelling unit with a 4-car garage on a legal non-conforming lot at 411 Bedford Street with standard conditions.
And
Engineering.
engineering.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations.
Thank you
Good
so
luck.
much. Thank you. Appreciate
Thank you
it.
very much.
Mhm. Moving right along, 7:30. Eli, Adam, and Rumi Nemi, recommend that applicant owners for special permit on the zoning bylaw section 4222, 7.6 and 11.6 to construct a detached 900 square foot additional dwelling unit on a legal legal non-conforming lot in the groundwater conservancy district at 98 Jenny Dugan Road. Anybody here?
Ellie Adam, owner, 98 Jenny Dugan Road. I'm here with Romy, my wife. And we're planning to build an ADU on 98 Jenny Dugan. Our lot has not enough frontage and area, so we need special permit for that.
Yep.
In the process, we also have to upgrade our septic. And we're gonna go above the 440, so we need a permit for that. And we also need a parking space for the ADU, so we're thinking of having an additional driveway that just cuts to the road. So permit for that also. We have should you put up the plans or?
We can, but just, I mean,
Would you like us to?
The proposed site plans?
The proposed site plans, I've got at least to kind of point to something. We have a 1968 deck house. We're planning a detached ADU. We're getting the same company. They're designing it in the same manner. So we're also still to maintain the character of the lot and the street. We're still running on the original septic. It is in the back. It's almost 6 years old. So it's fair to expect that it's gonna fail soon. So in the process, we're revamping that. We're moving it to the front, away from the back. And we're putting it in front of the ADU. So just to approach here. So that's gonna be this side. And then for the driveway, we should get a parking spot. One option is to connect all of this all the way down. That's not gonna work too well. So we could just cut a curb here, connect it. We get cars to park there. For the location, we thought a lot where to place it. We had a storm in 2020. We lost a lot of trees. So we had to clear this. There's a good opening. So it's like the perfect location for it. And we tried to design all of that so that it fits with the curvature of the lot. The kind of lot curves all the way down here. So it fits nicely. And that's kind of it. Happy to
It's
do.
also in a location where all the trees fell, so we're trying to minimize how many trees we need to cut to.
Yes, and we've packed a lot in that area. I tried to move a lot of things, and that's kind of where it all kind of comes together.
thank you. We read all the documentation and your whole narrative and all, I mean, I know some other board members drove by and it's a lovely area and it's like, the location to me makes sense.
Yes.
But questions from the board?
I guess for Christine so water and sewer was good with, cause I think it's near the brook, right? The larger septic here,
Yeah.
or is that still a condition?
I know health had, I believe health had conditions and engineering had theirs. So
Yeah, and it's not, it's not just.
Oh, it's
not as a regular septic system.
No, yeah, it's a nitrogen removing septic.
It's special.
Right, we applied Form C, we have approval from the Board of Health, Engineering Department, everything. I think they reached out today that we just need to get a COC once that is done so that we can get documents. And we also applied for a driveway permit. We kind of got it issued contingent on approval from the ZBA to pursue this plan. And I mean, for the curb cut, there's also one right-of-way tree. It's an 8-inch white pine that we have to remove. We're talking with the tree warden about that.
Okay, good. I'm gonna open it up for public comment here. Nobody here to comment, but there's still a few people online. So if you wanna, anybody online wanna comment, please raise your hand. Seeing none. I'm going to be closing the public comment section, bringing it back to the board. Also noted that there is quite a few letters from neighbors, right, on file that were all supportive. So that's always good. The other question that I have asked, and on the other ADUs, do you have a basement in this?
We do not. So that houses are just lower level and upper level. We don't keep junk.
Okay. Oh, good.
Architectural comment?
Yep.
It's very fitting. The design looks like it works very well with the house and is keeping with the historic nature of that neighborhood. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I think it's very thoughtful.
Yeah.
Very thoughtful. So thank you so much for that. Yeah, so.
Good. Good, it is my turn. I'll make a motion.
Please.
I move that we grant to Ellie, Adam, and Romy Neme a special permit under zoning bylaw sections 4.2.2.2 and 11.6 to construct a detached 999 square foot additional dwelling unit. Oh, sorry. Wait, I got into the wrong line. Okay, construct a detached 900 square foot additional dwelling unit on a legal non-conforming lot in the groundwater conservancy district at 98 Jenny Dugan Road, with health conditions as stated in the record.
In engineering.
And engineering
And standards.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations.
Good.
Again, very thoughtful, application.
It's a long process.
Yeah, it is. The results are good, so
Yeah.
we're gonna, yeah, no, this is good. Nice, thing. So, last, public hearing, I see that Mr. Grassi is online, so that's good. Michael Grassi, the applicant, on behalf of Irina Maldanova, the owner, for variance on the zoning bylaw section 624 and 11.7 to the dwelling location requirement for frontage exception lot to allow an additional dwelling unit to be located in the frontage exception area at 262 Virginia Road. Mr. Grassi has requested a continuation without discussion to our July 9th meeting, which obviously I think we should do, but Mr. Grassi, in preparation for that meeting, the board would like to schedule a site visit. I think it would, it would help the board in making its decision. And the more information we have, the better our decision will be. So we would like to schedule a site visit before the July 9th meeting. Typically, it's up to the applicant to allow neighbors on the site visit. The applicant does not have to. Our site visit will be, it will be posted. And we will be very limited in what we can talk and discuss on the site visit. Pretty much we can't really talk or we can ask them questions on the site visit and, what is this state for, or what does this this mark on the ground mean? We can ask questions like that, but we can't
deliberate.
We definitely can't deliberate, or we can say like, what do you want to do after this? Or questions
Sure,
like that,
right.
right? We can only ask questions that are very specific. As I said,
Fact-finding.
why? That's it. That's a word. Like, what's this state for?
Yeah.
And that sort of stuff we can ask, but nothing else. So, Mr. Grassi, we would like to schedule a site visit, and would there be a good opportunity, a time for you for that site visit?
Mr. Chairman, thank you for that. I would welcome the board making a site visit. I can make myself available based on your availability because you're more than I am. I only ask that you do it before the 2nd of July.
Yeah, okay, that's not,
Morning.
yeah, I mean, I'm relatively.
You have the
flexible.
youngest kids.
No, but typically site visits, like for HEC plan, we typically do them first thing in the morning because then everyone can go on to their
Yeah,
work
so
day. So they're typically noticed at like 8 AM.
Great, I'm good with 8 AM right now.
Depends on the day.
What days ADM can you do?
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Tuesdays and Thursdays, that's, well, big
I
day.
prefer Tuesday.
So Tuesday before July the 2nd, so that's June 30th?
Sure.
Is that?
I would say that week, because because the observed holiday is on Friday, I'm guessing there might be lots of
Okay,
people on
so
vacation
then
that week.
Tuesday the 23rd.
Can't do that day, but you guys can go to.
I think we need to.
Yeah.
Or Thursday, you said, but you prefer Tuesday.
I prefer Tuesday, but I can do Thursday.
So Thursday, the 25th.
Sure.
That's right.
You think we'll be done by 9?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. Mr. Graduate, does that work for you? The 25th of June, 8 o'clock?
Yes, it does.
Do you want it staked?
No, no, well,
Well, I'm just wondering, because, normally we go and evaluate the location in reference to stuff, but.
yeah, I mean, it's aggressive. I don't know whether there's stakes out there of the preferred location, but then there is the option. I mean, this sort of the preferred location you can see from the road, right?
Yeah.
It is really the back of the house where the other locations that the variance request is based on, that is really something that I would like to see. So
no need for staking.
yeah, and then there's like 4 options. So there's no staking necessary there,
And I
obviously.
was gonna say, I think for you two, it's really easy to visualize those, where it would be, how much it measures, but if we can have some way to sort of take a little time to make that clear, I would appreciate that. I think
To make clear what
exactly where it would be.
the preferred
Yes.
location.
Mhm.
The preferred location on the front of the lot. I think that can be done if there's no stakes. I mean, because that, a foot
Yeah.
here or there doesn't matter, right? That can be done pretty quickly.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, it's already staked.
It's already
It's been
staked.
there for a while.
Yeah, I just can't visualize
Yeah,
20
yeah.
feet instantly in the video.
Yeah.
Bring some traffic.
Thank you.
So, let's make this then, a motion, a double motion, for, continuation to, June 9th at.
July 9th.
July 9th, at what time?
35 or something.
7:35 for continuing, for the hearing. And then on, June 25th, June 25 at 8 o'clock for a site visit, and,
You can move. Do you wanna
I
move
can, then if you move, then,
Absolutely.
Ravi will second it. And then I will ask for the ayes.
Aye.
The ayes. And then that's good. So we'll see you, on the 25th, Mr. Grassley.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Nice.
Cool. So, 2 other items on the agenda tonight, election of officers. You had mentioned that you might want to step up. If you want to do so, then that's good. I can also do it for another year. But I have 2 years left. So I would do it for another year and then I'll step down but then somebody needs to take over then at that point in time.
I would consider that, but I think you should stay for this year, and then we should have a discussion about exactly how that works, the chair position, and then I would give you my thoughts. But yes, I do have a general interest. I'm just not
Yeah.
ready to accept it right now.
Okay, no, and absolutely. If obviously if you want to step up, you have my full support. And I will help you as much as I can.
Great.
So that, but then, I can do it for another year, but
I would
then
take
I'm
another
done.
year of learning, for sure.
Thank you. There's no vote for that, right?
We didn't
Well,
decide
exactly.
anything. We
Yeah, we didn't
decided
decide
not to
anything.
decide.
We didn't, yeah.
Just a
Not
fact
make
finding
any
exercise.
changes, so we just-
Seconded.
Okay, and then the draft meeting minutes. I had one little comment on it, a typo, the draft meeting minutes that done, but otherwise I didn't have any comments.
Have none.
So we're going to accept the meeting minutes.
So moved.
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Well. Anita and Linda, thank you so much for bearing with us for so long. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Kevin.
Kevin stepped out for a moment, so he might not be there. So, but we're done.
Yeah.
For the night.